Hello everyone, we are here at the Fairmont Mayakoba where we are taking few days off after a very productive week in Miami. And it's one of my favorite places to relax, recharge, and discover new culture. So if one day you are looking to visit Caribs, don't hesitate.
Here we are again, 2 years and a half after, since we
Yes.
started, or since we did our first episode in Australia. Felt a bit weird. I'm curious to know, what is the biggest lessons you've learned in the podcast, but also in these 2 years playing tennis and then half a year of retirement life?
I think definitely what I learned on the podcast was almost every single guest, especially players or former players, were kind of regretting that they didn't enjoy enough the tour or celebrating wins. And it's also something I felt during my career I didn't do enough, like celebrate my title, because I always felt like rushed by achieving more. And also like finding the balance between being a professional tennis player and normal human being, and with like wanted to find the balance and go for dinner and discover places. And I think enjoy is one of the best lesson I learned.
Yeah, it's true. It's why when we always ask the advice to younger selves, they always say this, no? It looks like Alcaraz is really good at it, but the most of people are really struggling, or at least that's what he seems he's doing well, to enjoy.
It feels maybe the new generation is trying to do a bit different, and they are not afraid sometimes, even Sabalenka now, to skip some tournaments if she doesn't feel like 100% physically or mentally. And it's probably in that direction that tennis is going to go in the next years.
Yeah, because you were always feeling that you had to play yes or yes, no? Even if you won a tournament and the day after there was a tournament somewhere else, you felt you had the duty to go, no?
Yeah, I felt like this, and also I was pushed also to like, oh, you got the confidence from winning a tournament, so maybe you can go in the next tournament feeling confident
and win again.
and win again, like.
Yeah. Well, you did one back-to-back, no, in China?
I did.
So at least
It
once
was
it
not
worked.
that. But yeah, you feel like, oh, maybe I have the confidence, I have the rhythm, so now I have to go on court and I will be able to get some points and go higher in the ranking. So I guess there is one part is true, but also sometimes it's just maybe too much.
Yeah.
And it's also good to be able to rest a bit, enjoy, take the positive of what you did, and come back maybe in one week later with the confidence still, but the freshness.
Did you ever skip a tournament after winning one?
Yeah, I did. I mean, after Cincinnati, I was supposed to play a 215 Cleveland, but I was
well.
coming from Hawaii. So yeah, I did. No, I did a few times.
But that doesn't count.
I did also. Okay, so well,
that doesn't count.
Okay, well then the next one you're gonna tell me the same, because after I won Beijing, I skipped the next tournament.
So basically, no.
And then.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we have done. I think we published 50 guests so far. We have done maybe 10, 15 more that are coming soon. What has been, or which have been your favorite moments so far of these 50 plus episodes?
It's hard to pick, because like at the end, obviously I know a lot of players from the tour, but it's not like I have a lot of chat with them.
Yeah.
So I was really able to know them better, and every time I felt they were feeling in a comfortable place to open up. So I got to know them a lot, and we chat a lot about tennis, but also about life in general. So for me, I always felt grateful to be able to experience those moments. And
come on, choose. You have to people or moments. Give me the traditional media response, please. We can edit after.
I felt Taylor Fritz was very interesting. He was really a player that I didn't know at all, and you have the image of him competing on tour, but it was very hard to kind of enter his head and what does it think. But he was very honest about like his childhood, how he grew up with his father being his coach, and also about being like super confident that he was gonna achieve it. And that's something for me was always very difficult, to trust myself and be confident that I can do it. So for me, it was very cool to be able to hear him say that. And he was super honest about what he thought, and I think that's what we need.
Yeah, it was definitely a great episode. Who else? Come on, give me two more.
Darren Cahill. I think I learned so much in that episode
True.
about how to coach like a very little kid, like how you're supposed to do it when you're a kid, do other sports, have fun, stay in school, and then like giving advices to players on how to find a good coach. Like at the end, a coach cannot be good everywhere, and if someone tells you he's good everywhere, he's probably bullshitting you somewhere.
Yeah.
And also sometimes it's good to change coach maybe after 3-4 years, because that person has nothing more to give to you. And I mean, obviously he's been on tour for so long, so he has so many like stories with like Andre Agassi. And
true.
so
I love what he said of keep the joy, because I feel like in the episodes we explore a lot that how tough tennis is, and all the mental challenges and the pressure and blah blah. And I completely get it. I've seen it firsthand. But I also love this approach of like, hey, try to keep the perspective, that what you're doing is pretty awesome, and try to keep having fun because you will miss it. Yeah. And when he was saying that every time he steps on court, he's like, I wish I was me and not Yannick playing. I think that's a good advice for young players too. And like, you're lucky to be there, so try to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was sharing also that with Andre Agassi, they were not always like practicing like 4 or 5 hours a day, but sometimes they were more like chatting about like what can they do like better, and it's a good way also to keep improving.
Yeah. I feel my favorite episode has to be Bryan Shelton, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Bryan.
in a sport where there's a lot of like toxic families and stuff, I think like having someone who's managed to have a great relationship with his son and player, I think that was awesome. I think Bryan is my favorite episode by far. Yeah.
I mean, I love it for sure. It's so hard to pick, but of course I love Bryan. And like you say, I think it's very good for parents to listen to him, to like find the balance between being a coach and being a dad, and what comes first.
Yeah.
And they have a very good relationship on court and also outside the court by finding distance and balance.
Yeah. You have achieved great stuff. You're my idol. You've been number 4 in the world, won crazy amount of stuff. But if you had to do it over again, what things would you do different, and which you would like still do the same way?
I would probably build my team differently, bringing someone from experienced who have achieved it, who done it. When I was young and coming up, like at 18, 19, I was kind of dreaming to like have Amélie Mauresmo as a coach, or at least part of my team, because of course she was my idol for what she had achieved in tennis. So I kind of always had that secret dream.
Okay, I didn't know that one actually. You never said that.
So that's why sometimes even now when I still see her, I'm like
shy.
Yes, like a little girl.
Was it ever like you ever had a discussion with her, or?
Well, no, she was captain of Fed Cup, so I was able to experience it a bit, but obviously she was not able to spend more time with me. But yeah, I never asked her, never talked to her.
Your dad, was he open to it or no?
No, I don't think so. But I will have trust myself more, like to take my own decision, and that I know what I can do and who I want around me.
Yeah.
Obviously, like my dad was my coach, so for me was not easy, and he was taking a lot of space and a lot of decision by himself.
Yeah.
So I will have done that, and
okay, I want to jump on that. What advice would you give? Because we still see many young players coming up with parents who are their coaches. I think let's focus on the ones that the parents are not former players. What advice would you give to those young players based on your own experience?
Okay, I will say that a role of a parent is to help your kid to find a good team around, to have like professional people who have experience, who know what it means to be a professional tennis player. And it's your role probably until he's maybe like 18, 20, depends of some player. But then you have to let your kid grow and find his own space and find his own personality, but with competent people around. So like this, you as a parent, you can trust those people, and him as a kid, he can like relax, trust the people around him, and find his own space and own identity.
Okay, and I'm going to spice up things a bit more. And if the father doesn't accept this decision, what advice would you give to the player? Because you said it a few times in the podcast, no? Sometimes you wanted to have a professional, but you didn't manage to get your dad out of the team. Looking backwards, what advice would you give to players who might be on the same situation?
Well, I think maybe it's good for those kids to be able to share it with other players or former players who have been through that, because it's also a very lonely moment and you're not sure which decision you want to take and how you are supposed to take it. So I think ask for help. And I think also like trust yourself, that you're doing it for you and you're the player and you're supposed to be also like the boss of your team. But you have to find yourself in a position where you are comfortable. So obviously trust yourself. It's not going to be easy, but ask for help also. There is a lot of people also on tour who wants to help and who have a good heart. And I think it will help.
Do you regret not using all these like super like talented, experienced people? Like, I don't know, like I feel like now you see like Novak Djokovic sometimes having this kind of a mentor role with younger players. Do you regret not trying to, like, when you were like younger, get more help or like try to ask players for?
Yeah. Of course, I regret not connecting more already, like with fellow players, because I always stayed very shy, stayed in my corner, because I always heard from my team and my dad that I was not able to be friends with other players. So I always like stayed very close. And now with the podcast in my last 2 years on tour, I connected way more, and it's very nice to be able to share things and be more like a human being. So on that side already for sure. And also I think on maybe more the tennis side, yes, like the same way I was dreaming to maybe have a call, only with Amelie to talk about tennis or what should I do. I think there is so much experience out there, so many people who are happy to share and tell you, oh, like, that's what I experience. That's how I deal with it. I'm not sure it's going to work for you, but this is one option. And I think everyone is willing to open up and help and take a phone call for an hour.
Nice. And sometimes we always talk about regrets and what you have done better. But what are the things you are most proud about your career, your tennis career, because your career is still on the making?
Probably that I have achieved and won some big tournaments like the WTA Finals or 1000 events. Even going through a lot of ups and downs emotionally. It was not easy and it was quite intense career. But at the end, in some moment, I was able to connect everything and play some great tennis who allow me to win some big tournaments. So I think I can be proud of that. Even if sometimes it was not always my own decision and I was not feeling very comfortable with some things, I got to do some great moment and experience some good tournament, and even like winning with the team friends was very cool. Me who was super individual, super like lonely and shy, like to be able to share it as a team was kind of cool. And these are moments that maybe in 20, 30 years I will remember.
Yeah, for sure. On the first episode we ever did, you said you always attached your self-worth to your results. What are your thoughts on that? And what advice would you give to your younger self or other players to avoid? Because at the end, that roller coaster probably, that mental roller coaster was very attached to this thing, no? So what are your thoughts on it and feedback you'd give to other people?
Yeah, I mean, I felt when we did few other WTA player, I'm not the only one.
No.
Unfortunately, because it's very sad and it has like nothing to do between tennis and you as a person. I think it's very connected to like your younger years. Like, oh, you're supposed to do good when you're like under 14, under 16 and things like that. Because the sponsor are interested, your parents who are maybe pushing you like or telling you like, oh, you have to do this and that at this year. And after like how your team or your parents treat you when you are young with your result also affects you like as a person, and make you pay more attention of the result more than of like the way to the top.
Yeah, what Judy Murray was saying, that if what was it? If when you win, you go to McDonald's on the way back home, and when you lose, you don't. Even if it's just like a innocent thing, what you're teaching your kid, no, is like you're worth more if you win than you lose. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I think, it's very shy because we can see it in a lot. It's very a shame because we can see it in a lot of player out there. And he has nothing to do with it. And I think it's very important to have like long-term goal and not always like super focused on like just the result of today.
Nice. What is your best memory from your tennis career?
Oof. I think one of the best one maybe was when I qualified for first time for the second week in Roland Garros, and I was playing on the former court number 1, who was very nice, and you were very close to like the fans.
That was a famous match against Alize, or no?
No, that was a round after. And yeah, for me it meant a lot to like go for second week for first time in Slam. The match was crazy. I was playing against Sue Wessier and she was killing me with like drop shot and lock. So I was basically dead.
Yeah.
But also this court was very good. Like I had a lot of fans supporting me, cheering me up, and they were feeling very close. So it was very special.
Nice. Your worst memory?
Probably one match on Roland Garros and Philippe Chatrier where I was not able to.
Which one? You remember?
I have two in mind. I have Dona Vekic.
That's which year, you know?
I will say maybe 2018.
Okay.
And then I have...
So that's the first year feeling like where you were like a top 10 player, no?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, but it can be 2019, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but like after, yeah.
And then probably one against Blinkova in Roland Garros also.
The 2023. 22, 20.
I played her twice actually, so...
The last one you played in Roland Garros?
I think the year before was worst.
Why? What was going on there? Because I feel like for us, for people who have not experienced it, it's very hard to relate. So try to maybe like walk us through on why, instead of feeling excited, like playing a Grand Slam at home in a big court, you feel like all the opposite emotions.
Because I felt like, obviously for me it meant a lot and I wanted to go far already by myself. I was putting pressure on myself because I wanted to do good. Also, sometimes I was aware the condition was not going in my favor.
You mean like the clay court?
The clay court, the weather and things like that.
Yeah.
And also like, yeah, as I wanted to deliver so bad, I was getting so stressed. And then... yeah, it was a slam in my country. Media was putting pressure on you, like, oh, you're like supposed to do good, you're supposed to win. Few times, like, I arrived in a position where I was like top seed. So extra pressure from the media, and then yeah, the fans sometimes are tough when you are not able to deliver. You know, like they want you to deliver, play a good match, but sometimes I was fully aware I was playing like so bad, and I was so unable to like put two tactics together, and it was just like so blurry in my mind, and I just felt so lonely out there. I just wanted to go away. It's
funny how your brain can play like so many tricks on you, because I remember like you were always putting the match against Eva Lise in 2024 in Roland Garros as in your brain is a match you played terribly, and we did the episode with her, and she has a memory of thinking that you were unstoppable. So it's kind of funny how like two players on the same match, like they can both think they're being a disaster.
Yeah, because I think sometimes I was like so hardly tough on myself.
Yeah.
Because I was taught like that.
Yeah, I think you shared in a few episodes that, I mean, your dad he always said it was never enough to win. You always had to win.
And playing good.
Playing good. What are your thoughts on this now?
Well, I think it's ridiculous because probably you will play 5 very good matches through the year, and the rest you have to find a way to either like play just a slightly better than the other one, or play ugly, or find a tactic number 10 to win the match. And me, most of the time, I was like fully focused on playing my style, no adapting too much to the other one, no adapting to how I was feeling on that day.
Yeah.
And I didn't really have like plan B or C, and sometimes maybe it was without disrespect to the opponent, but maybe on that day was just enough to pass and be able to play another match in a better condition.
You mentioned winning ugly, which comes to the episode we did with Brad Gilbert.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, you mentioned that on the slams you felt always a lot of pressure from your dad or your team.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's why, like, sometimes like your best version never came up on slams?
I mean, I already have so much pressure for myself because I wanted to win a slam. It was my dream. It was my goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, sorry to interrupt, but that's what Brad was saying, no? That when you have a player in a slam, you try to make him relax, not the other way around.
Yeah, because like all the vibe around a slam in tennis is like so high.
Yeah.
That you already, as a tennis player, as an athlete, you're like super committed to do well. And then if your team doesn't help you to make it look like it's a normal tournament, it's long, you have to focus, you have to be able to refresh, balance, do other things because it's a long tournament. Well, then it becomes too much. And then you also have an opponent that put pressure on you on the match. So you have to find a way to take it as a normal tournament, but also like it's long 2 weeks or 3 weeks if you arrive the week before, and you have to refresh your mind.
Yeah. Okay, I'm curious. In 2022, you did semifinals US Open against Ons Jabeur. You've always lost against her, no? Pretty much always badly. On the episode we did with Brad Gilbert, basically, like, he told you that your strategy against her made no sense. And that if you have done like some different things, and he was very specific, but I don't remember them now, you would have won probably against her a few times. Do you think having had a coach, a proper coach I mean, Bertrand was great. I don't mean him. I mean, before, like all those years, like having instead of your dad, someone like Brad or Darren or Wim or whatever, do you sometimes feel you would have achieved more?
Probably, yeah. Probably I would have achieved more with someone with more experience like Darren, Brad, Wim, who have been there.
Yeah.
And we will be probably able to help me like tactically about my game style or finding those plan B or C.
Yeah.
And also like as they have been there, you are able as a player to share more with them, and mentally sometimes they will be able to relate more to what you feel and give you the good advice.
Yeah.
Because sometimes on court when you are going through so much, it's very hard to put words on what you feel.
Fair enough.
You just feel like overly overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But from the outside, it doesn't really make sense sometimes. But it's just like something that you cannot explain. But it's just like sometimes my brain was literally like empty. It was like nothing coming up. In the moment where I am supposed to know where I'm going to serve and where I'm going to return. And it's like literally nothing. Or after the match, I was just like remembering nothing of what happened.
Yeah, I think it was Bryan Shelton actually, who shared that if you have not the experience as a player, it's way more complicated to coach someone because of you can really not relate to what the person is feeling on the stadium. Yeah, interesting. Cool. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're good, no?
Yeah, I think so. Looking forward to do many more episodes together, to keep traveling, to do more episodes in such a cool place like Mayakoba. It's, I think, their 20th anniversary. So thank you for having us. It's an honor. And I think we have a personal update.
Yes.
For those who might not have been through our Instagram yet.
Yes, the family is growing. We are expecting our first little boy mid-August. Mid-August, so life is gonna change a little bit.
Are we gonna make him a tennis player or not?
He will play some tennis, like the same way he will play some football or whatever.
Are you gonna be coaching him?
No, you're gonna bring him to tennis.
I'm not coaching my kid.
No, but you're bringing him to tennis.
Yeah. I feel we learned the lesson the hard way, so we will just enjoy our kid.
Yeah. If he wants to play tennis, we will be there, but that's it.
Yeah, it's exciting. So yeah, we're gonna take a little break from traveling on tennis, no?
Yes, but the podcast new episode will still coming.
Yes. We will be back in Australian Open if everything goes right.
With a new host.
With our little
new host in the background.
Yeah, like background noise. Well, cool. Thank you, and let's go back to the beach.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Sounds
you.
good. That's how I